But you know what I find funny about this, Austin?
What do you find funny, bro?
That complacency is the enemy of success. There's a lot of times that we want to sit here and deliberate over what could happen or what could be, when the best thing that we can do is just act and take the steps necessary to test out a hypothesis. Will this woman fall in love with me? Can I get her to go on a date with me? Will I succeed in this business? Will I become a professional athlete? Well, you won't know until you try. And you'd rather know by failing or succeeding than to sit there and have the pain of regret haunt you for the rest of your life for never even having attempted to answer the age-old question of, could I do this?
So looking at the definition of complacency here, I honestly don't like this definition, honestly, but I'll go ahead and say it. What I'm reading here is a feeling of quiet pleasure or security, often while unaware of some potential danger, defect, or the like. Now, yes, I agree with that. But I also like to add here that to me, complacency is laziness, it's being gullible, and it's being ignorant. Because one thing that the last couple of weeks has taught me, and I'm sure has taught us as well, is that there's always more to do. There's so much more out there than what you're aware of. Whether it's, you think that there's a couple industries that you can get into if you have a specific niche, right? You have a specific business that you might not think would be very marketable because, again, it's very niche. However, the more you talk to people, the more industries you're made aware of, the more people you're made aware of, the more events you're made aware of, the more opportunities you may have. And going through this process over the last couple of weeks especially has opened my eyes to this, and it's made me aware that there's an infinite amount of opportunities out there. You just have to be willing to go out and find them. And when you're complacent, you don't want to do that because, again, I think it's from a standpoint of you're ignorant and gullible. If you really think that you made it to the top and there's no more for you to do, you're wrong. You might be the richest person on planet Earth. However, if you look at Elon Musk, we bring him up. If you look at Elon Musk, is he just sitting there doing nothing? No. Why? Because there's always more to do. Always. Okay, there's a whole universe out there that we don't fucking know much about. Let's learn about it. Let's fucking build rocket ships and shit so we can go explore. There's always more things that you could fucking do. So whenever you're in a position of where you think life has gotten to a point to where you're feeling good and you're coasting, to me, that's an illusion. Because I think that I was in that a couple of years ago where life was, all right. I had what I wanted, the car I wanted, the apartment I wanted, the girlfriend or whatever. Actually, I don't think multiple girls at that time. It wasn't a girlfriend. But I had basically everything that I wanted, However, I knew that I was destined for much more. And if you're not cognizant of this, you can stay trapped within that illusion. It's almost like a genjutsu, huh? So, you don't even realize that you're in something, but you're consistently placed in this kind of facade that society deems as, comfortable and what you should be doing. But if you really know yourself and you know that you're destined for more, realize that this complacency is indeed a trap. You have to be made aware of this, and you have to know that there's always more for you to do. Even if you think that you've reached the top of the mountain, you reach the top of that mountain, but Mount Kilimanjaro is over there. Mount Everest is over there. Okay, you reach top of Mount Everest. All right, let's go to another planet. I'm pretty sure they have taller mountains over there. So there's always more to do. Just you have to broaden your scope and realize that the opportunities that there are normally on the other side of your comfort level. And it's normally hard for people to grasp that because, again, it's not fun. It's not easy. It's scary. but that's how you grow. And there's always room for more growth.
What is the saying about like option overload?
Analysis paralysis type thing?
Analysis paralysis. Okay. So, and then there was one more that I had before analysis paralysis that I actually remembered that now I forgot. Damn it. Analysis paralysis and death by indecision. Oftentimes, we are complacent because there are too many options on our plate. We see too much potential and too many possibilities, which causes us to freeze in our footsteps. And that never works in your favor. And death by indecision leads to your ultimate demise. And obviously it's death by indecision. But the problem is you have so many options and you're failing to choose one. You're better off looking at the fork in the road and picking one of the millions of trails, failing and realizing that that's not the path you want to go to, and either finding a link between the paths or going back and picking another path. Because by process of elimination, if you live long enough, or if you attempt long enough, or take many attempts, you'll eventually fall upon a path that relatively works or works. That's better than sitting at the fork in the road and never making a decision. So I say this to say, you need to decide to take action on one thing. Don't try to start multiple businesses at once. We've been there. Don't try to start multiple endeavors at once, because you'll spread yourself thin. You won't be able to get to a level of mastery, and you're also setting yourself up for failure, because when you fail at one of these things, it's going to cascade into the other things. Now, I understand we're speaking more to a crowd of people who don't have the responsibility of a family, don't have the responsibility of children, and certain other features. The reason I mention this is because your plan B should be your plan A. There is no option of failing. Now, the actual vehicle that you're going to use to get from point A to point B may not be what you expect. Your business model might fail, but that doesn't mean that you should stop trying to create a business. So when I say the vehicle, it could be the business, it could be the product, it could be the service that you offer, it could be essentially what's generating you the money or how you're doing it. Are you a mobile barber, or do you open a barber shop? Do you do house calls, or do you only do set location calls? It's different aspects and different vehicles that you can use to achieve one goal. But that goal is what shouldn't change. Because when you require a plan B, it's when you have to succeed because you have more responsibilities, whether that be a wife, children, family members, or just some other extenuating circumstance. And truly what you need to do is just take action. Pick a damn thing, make a plan, strategize over how to best approach it as you are doing it, and then evolve your strategy and improve it. Take that live feedback and make the next step better than the last, and make it better than the last. And you'll become better at projecting, and then you'll realize, hey, this is going to fail, but let me pivot here.
A word that you use that I like is evolve. And to me, that's something we've seen companies not be able to do. If you think of some, maybe Blockbuster, or also, what was that shit? The toy shit.
Oh, Toys R Us?
Yeah, it's Toys R Us.
That's crazy.
You know, so companies like these, Sears as well, all used to be huge companies when we were younger, huge companies, right? And of course, I may not know the specific reason. However, if you look at, again, just the rise and fall of most companies, it normally is because, again, they're cool with coasting. They get caught coasting. They're enjoying the high instead of saying, how can I continuously try to leave a lasting impact on this market? And complacency is not only the enemy of success, I believe it's also the enemy of innovation. Bless you. Damn. Also the enemy of innovation. And whenever you're complacent, maybe you're not thinking of many ideas, or you're just kind of, throwing them to the wayside. However, You should always, in my opinion, if you're not an innovator, if you're not a creative, you should keep someone who is an innovator and creative around you, right? So say we get a board of directors tomorrow. In my opinion, of course, we should have people who are just naturally kind of steadfast and very opinionated to where they're not going to be easily swayed to do things. But I do think that you should have someone close to you that is a innovator, because they consistently try to push the needle. They consistently try to help grow the company and do different things, right? Because initially, did HEB offer all the things that it offered? Probably fucking not. It probably just started off as a regular grocery store, with produce, as opposed to including all these other things. Like now they have, cookware, they have, electronics, things of that nature that they've expanded into. They have curbside shit now.
Even have like clothing, apparel,
exactly,
shoes,
restaurants,
nail salons,
right, the whole nine. So that's how they were able to innovate. And now, because of that, people can go to HEB not only for food, they can go there for a multitude of things. And when you can go to one place for a multitude of things, that means that more people are going to continue to go there, because they don't have to go to this place, this place, this place. It's convenience. It's all about fucking convenience, right? So if they were complacent, they wouldn't have been able to keep a stronghold on this fucking market like how they've been able to do. So when, again, you have people around you, and even if you don't have people around you, you should find someone who pushes the needle, again, who's a little bit crazy, that says, hey, let's try this crazy ass idea. All right. And see where it fucking goes. Because a lot of these companies and a lot of these successful entities are successful not because they decided to play within the, play bowling with the bumpers on. They decided to take the bumpers off and see how far they could go. So when you're playing the game of life, when you're playing the game of entrepreneurship and business, you don't want to be complacent with your ideas and complacent with your innovation. Continuously innovate, continuously think of new ways to try to improve. Because again, if you can do that, and if you can, live through the test of time, that is the company and that is the person, that's the business that stands the test of time, because they're able to consistently get better and improve on what they have. And when you don't do that, your time is short. Even though it might seem like you might have a good position in the market for about 5-10 years, sure, that might sound like it's good. But then there's companies like, Visa or something like that, who have been around for as long as electronic cards have been able to be fucking used. And now they're just fucking doing everything, right?
And 60% of card transactions belong to Visa.
Exactly. So it's not just because that, they're just such a good company. Yes, that is true, but it's also because they continue to innovate. So don't get complacent with your ideas. Continue to think and continue to try to do more, because those are the people who win in life.
And I want to talk on something that I believe is a great trigger to complacency. And I really want to smoke a cigar right now. Spontaneously, Candela just popped in my head. And I was like, I can see myself on our balcony right after this podcast smoking a Mayfield cigar. But we won't plug that right now because we need to. Anywho, one of the biggest reasons why we are led into complacency is a fear of failure or a fear of success. Now, these have two very similar symptoms, but they stem from a different cause. Both fear of failure and a fear of success are rooted in the fact that the outcome is what's scary to us. Whether we fail or succeed, we see suffering in the outcome. We're afraid that if we lose, people are going to make fun of us. We're going to be broke. What do? It's the end of the world. We are gone. And the reason we fear success is because it's difficult to sustain, and you don't know what you're going to lose in the process. You're afraid of what it entails and the pain that it might bring. And that's one thing that people who are gung-ho don't see about success. But that's a conversation for another time. But the fear of failure, how do you combat that? You just need a little bit of reality. Because when it's all said and done, either you're alive or you've gone to the next life. There's no other way around it. Whether you succeed or fail has nothing to do with that. And it might actually lead to one or the other. And I understand that it might be a severe consequence. However, so what? If you fail and you just happen to survive, you dust yourself off, you pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and you get back to work. The worst case scenario is that you're better off than you were at your lowest point in time, because now you have experience. Now you've learned what doesn't work, and you've also learned all of the abilities that you gained and how to use them in the process. And that's why when most people talk to a millionaire or a billionaire and they say, if you were to lose all your riches today, how would you get back to the same status? And they know exactly what they're going to do because they've created a model that works. But we say this all the time. A win, a W, is just two L's put together. So you have to lose more than you win. In the word itself, it makes sense. Now, how do you overcome the fear of success? Well, success isn't for everybody. Not everybody's special. That's just the way the world is. And you have to understand that being at a higher level, being at the top of a hierarchy, or having employees, or having children, or having mentees, or having any degree of responsibility, you will lose something. It will be painful in more than one way, but you have to understand and truly value that pain and those sacrifices more than the pain that's coming. You have to value the outcome. You have to value the benefit. You have to value your work and the return more than the pain that you suffer in the process of achieving it and maintaining it. It has to make sense for you. Otherwise, I guarantee if you start now, you will quit later. Or if you reach the top, you won't keep it and you'll regret it, actually. So if you fear success and you truly think about it and you realize that that is not the position you want to be in, well, then just redefine what your success is. It doesn't need to be, I'm going to have a Bugatti and live in Romania and travel the world and have so many women that love me. That's an amazing dream. Don't get me wrong.
I wonder who that is.
However, if you realize that you don't want all the smoke that comes with, and maybe you just want to live in the suburbs, work a 9 to 5, beans and toast for breakfast, and a nice little puss for dinner once a year with your kids and your wife, then that's just fine. Doesn't need to be special. I was going to be an asshole there and say you're not special, but
I mean,
you are special.
I mean, here's the thing. Being honest, like you said, it's like, look, because a lot of people that are in our comments always assume it's like, oh yeah, we're talking to you. We're talking to the ones that like to be complacent and like to just live, their regular lives. If you want to live a regular life, go ahead. I personally do not care. You're listening to our podcast, we appreciate it, but you can go to another podcast where we're talking about, I don't know, some other shit like how to cook with your wife or some shit like that, which we're not going to podcast about.
Oh, no.
So
let's turn you on some of the dating podcasts that teach you how to do day game and shit like that.
Yeah, you can go there.
You got to pick up 100 girls before you can get one date. Yeah,
right.
That type of shit,
Right.
This is the best strategy. Girls will love you if you do this. And
So if you've ever heard of the saying, if the shoe fits, wear it. If the shoe doesn't fit, shut the hell up. Okay? Because we're talking to a select group of people here that want to do better. And if you want to do better, if you want to improve, you want to stop being complacent, this is the podcast. It's the episode for you. However, if you don't, enjoy your life. I don't want to see you talking to me about, oh, well, I like my life how it is. Well, okay, I'm glad you do. I'm not talking to you, right? I'm talking to everybody who wants to be something, who wants to grow, who wants to mature. So y'all enjoy your nice life of complacency.
The AM Club Podcast.
Signing out.
The AM Club Podcast.